Companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The Homeward Blow Foundation, Inc., nonprofit 501c3, and our presenting sponsor, Beta Philanthropies, Inc., invites you to the 32nd annual Homeward Blow birthday party for the kids on Saturday, June 27th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. for kids ages 2 to 13 years old at the Fitzsimmons Boys and Girls Club in Metcalf School, located at 3400 West North Avenue on 34th and North. Admission is absolutely free, and after 32 years, you already know how it goes down. And this year, don't miss the kids' phone party. Shout out to our platinum sponsors, the Office of Early Childhood Initiative, Mighty Small Moments, the Brewers Community Foundation, Spectrum, and Westcare, Wisconsin. Our gold sponsors, Maleka Early Learning Center, Liquid, formerly the Oasis, Unite WI, Community Health Primary Care Services, LLC, the Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Eisenberg, Riley, and Zimmerman, and the New Pitts Mortuary. Our silver sponsors, Mr. B's Privilege Lounge and Dog City, along with Running Rebels and Griffin CDL Institute. Limited vendor spaces available. If you'd like to support or make a donation, email homerblowfoundation@gmail.com or call 414-248-4954.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Man, so we got kids out here who don't want to compete with each other. Is okay? So the all-time modern topic of today is y'all go laugh. It's okay, baby. It's just participation.
Nah, I can't.
Nah, man.
It's participation.
After 6th grade, you gotta throw some skin in the game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, man, I tell people I'm gonna go down on my sword because realistically, you got to coach the parents too.
Right.
You know, when you got your own kids, you want them to compete. As I said earlier, we want them to compete, but have an understanding.
Yeah.
Like, because this is what life is. We're trying to use the sport to help you for life. Life is competition.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to teach these kids, like, at one point, you're going to have to take a foot out in front of your friend.
Yeah.
Because now this is the generation where everybody gets a medal, which is cool. We got games for that. We got leagues for that. But when they get to a certain level, you got to fight. That's just all it comes down to. You got to create that gauntlet and that respect and set those boundaries and let them know. I tell them all the time when they walk in the door, it's good that we got the summer programs. And that I tell them right away, hey, separate from your friends right now. It's okay to be the girl or be the guy and have some moxie and have some have some confidence within what you do, because if you put in the time, you deserve that.
Yep.
And that's what I try to tell the parents too. If your kid put in the time and I know what they're doing, I'm okay with maybe working them in within the team plan, but not because you said.
Yeah.
But if it's within the team concept and I know you grinding and you understand that you got to compete, so creating that gauntlet for your players and it goes further then, because now the way it is now, everybody gets a medal. It's just a lot of tears.
Yeah.
It's just still a lot of cries.
I remember my dad. Yo, my father's wild, man, but he was always like, he was the one that will always say, he had this saying. It's super simple, and we have this saying too. We all have it. We would tell our the people that we're working with, our students, be first, be number one.
Yeah.
Like, but my father will always, even in the martial arts, will be like, be first. So when you're fighting somebody, it's almost imperative to be first, even if you're counter fighting.
Yep.
Even if you're on defense, be first on that, because you don't want to get hit, right? You want to be the one to do the hitting. Or he's also like the one, he will always say, even in the competition, don't bring number two.
Right.
Don't bring number two.
Yeah.
Be number one. And that goes over to the mastery, not just within the sport, but outside of the sport, as you were talking about. And as you were saying, like, you're not playing these sports just to play them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You're playing these sports because you want to master something, because then you'll take that mastery and push it over to, your
real
corporate
life.
career, your real life, and you'll be able to master something, like master discipline, master your relationship, whatever it is you want to master your relationship with God.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're able to master something.
And you're planting that seed early to do that.
Yeah, man.
And that's where it transitions to all those other things.
Yeah.
It's dividends. You get what you put in is what you get out.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell people all the time, especially, like I said, my son is going into the 6th grade, and I constantly chew his ear up. But I'm just telling him, like, man, it's crazy, because you can really control how good you want to be.
Yeah.
Once you get to the age, and I don't even know if
That's
I ever thought about that. I don't know if James ever, but it's like, because I think my athleticism came so easy to me, I didn't really think about that. But what if we would have been to the point to have somebody talking to us about, figure out what you do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And master that part.
Yeah.
So then that expose things you need to work on, as opposed to, I'm just doing everything, but I'm so much better than people that I'm getting away with bad habits.
And that's where pros,
Yep.
that's the difference between
Yes.
pros and Joes. Like, even though we
That's
got
deep.
all these things coming out of Milwaukee now,
Yeah.
the difference of us doing it, I kind of mentioned it later, is having that pro to come in and tell you those things. Like, we did everything by trial and error.
Yeah.
But I won't say, I used to say that because it was people say, oh, it comes to you easy. You just, no, it didn't come to me easy. I actually worked on this.
Yeah.
Like, I remember from 5 years old, just racing. East St. Louis, everything's a race.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they have the most track athletes to come out of there.
Yeah.
My family, everything was a race. Everything was a relay. Like, it was just building that motor. And I played outside all day. Then, been a club kid, we played all day.
Yeah.
So you're working every muscle. The things that they're paying for now is what we did within a sport.
Daily.
For free.
Daily.
For free.
For free.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so people are paying these trainers, and I'm telling people, like, look, man, just come over and work out with me. I got something for you.
Yep.
Let's hit this track.
Yep.
Let's hit this hill.
Yeah.
Let's just get some discipline on this getting up every day at the same time, this repetition of training your body, like Randy said, just those disciplines, man. And this is the only thing I'm mad about in life, between this and the clock.
Yeah.
Because you can't, we can't beat Father Time.
Nope.
But also that these kids can do so little and get a lot right now. Like, we did a lot. And they can do, and I tell the athletes now, look, man, it's unfortunate that if all three of us in this room in our 24, we all go to practice, right?
Yeah.
We all do whatever we do.
Yeah.
You can work one more hour than him. I can work one more hour than you. And you're still right there.
Yeah.
But we can reap the benefit, like, because everybody's just doing the same thing at the same rate every day.
Yeah.
And so now if you put 2 days in there, or if you work out 5 days on your craft, you can get a D1 scholarship.
Kobe said it right.
Easy.
Kobe was like, and Jordan, them guys, and other people.
Yeah.
But putting in the work on the front end pays off on the back end.
10,000 hours.
If somebody's
hours.
if somebody's in the gym for, I don't know, if your opponent's in the gym for 10 hours per day, you're looking like, okay, if they in the gym for 10 hours, I need to be in the gym for about 15.
Yeah.
Like, I need to.
Nothing beats intentional hard work.
Yeah.
So like James said, everything's catchy now. You can go on YouTube, somebody can do a clip, because they really just showing clips of the people doing stuff perfect.
Right.
They doing them like, oh, he cold. You just seen them do the end result of something.
Yeah.
Nobody sees what it took to get to that point. Whether this
Yes.
kid can do it 10 times or you just caught him on the one time he did it out of 10 tries.
Right.
You don't know. So that's why I tell my son all the time, like, you control your destiny as far as your craft, your discipline, and your focus.
Yep.
You can go outside every day right now for 20 minutes and do ball handling drills.
Yep.
And in a month or two, your ball handling will tremendously increase. You'll be a better basketball player. You can go outside right now, take the speed ladder, hit the ladder.
Yep.
In a month or two, you will tremendously increase your speed, your agility, your jumping, because these are things you control. So like James said, we did that because I'm chasing him through the park.
Yep.
We flipping off of picnic
We
tables.
flipping off. Don't get off that mat. You go catch ringworm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And when we come back, we're gonna come right back. We'll take a quick break. Well, kind of a break. And then we'll be right back with Randy Drew and James Wright on the Grapevine.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
Yes. Welcome back to hour number 2 with Randy Drew and James Wright, Milwaukee legends in athletics and also education. But we're going to blend and merge the two in this second hour of the Grapevine. I'm your host, Manan Sabir. This is 101.7 The Truth Radio. And before we begin, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsors. American Family Insurance is a proud sponsor of The Truth. For almost 100 years, they've been committed to helping families protect what matters most, your home, your vehicle, and the dreams you're building every single day. And if you're part of the Truth audience, you already know you work hard for yours. That's why having the right protection in place matters. American Family Insurance helps you stay ready for whatever life brings so you can focus on moving forward. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Fellas, what Milwaukee neighborhood deserves more investment in recreation?
Foundation, I don't know. I'm not sure how strategically spaced out with, I always go back to Boys and Girls Club centers or just centers for kids.
Yeah, speaking
to
to
the
Mike.
streets. Oh, centers for kids to get off the streets. So
Yeah.
to say what area needs more, I'm not really sure. I know we need more, metroplexes or plexes in the city that people can hold more, events, tournaments, basketballs.
Because we got the yard out there.
Yeah, but that's all
north,
that's all, on the outskirts. It's not in the city.
Yeah.
It's not in the city.
New Berlin, like
Yeah.
OAW, like we're going everywhere else now.
Yeah.
And that's building up their economy because we're paying to go out there,
spend money with
them, their gas, their hotels, like they hosting these tournaments and
even going from your neighborhood and on, let's say 44th and Burleigh, 39th and Burleigh, the Meadows, you're going out to these neighborhoods and you're looking at all these homes. And as you're traveling from, a home on the Meadows or wherever from the inner city to the suburban homes, you're looking like, okay, well, that home looks valuable and viable enough for me to purchase and or move into. So not only are you seeing it as an athlete, but the coaches are seeing it that are taking you out there, and they're thinking like, man, I can actually move out here and do, community work. I can take these athletes out here and invest their time in these communities versus the one that I need to invest in my community, right?
Yeah, I think people get comfortable. And it's a culture shock, coming from the inner city and, James working out in the suburban school, I'm working out in the suburban school.
Yeah.
It is like night and day when it comes to resources and things that get allocated to certain areas and just the opportunities given, to a certain demographic. And I mean, whether it's purposeful or not, there is a part of you that kind of be like, man, you wish you could give back more in another way. But me being a 220 kid, like I said, growing up, I had to catch a bus 45 minutes to an hour every day to school.
Oh, wow.
So coming up, like I said, my parents gave me the best upbringing I wouldn't trade it for nothing. But when you go out there and you start seeing these homes in Bayside and Fox Point and River Hills and Glendale and Whitefish Bay, it's just a different environment. You're seeing a different, scenery.
Yeah.
And then, I think that was also part of the thing that, for me, and I think a lot of athletes, because we all didn't come from just dire needs and crack babies.
Right.
So we ain't all like that. We all had
that's
parents
not
who
the-
loved us.
that's not the
situation for me and for a lot of us. But I think it also motivated me to say one day I want that as well.
Yeah.
Or why can't I have that one day? Or I start traveling and you start talking to people who got money, and I'm in NFL locker rooms when I was a rookie and talking to dudes and they telling me stuff. It's like, these things are viable, man.
It can happen.
What vehicle are you going to use to get there? That's the thing.
And I think a lot of people, when they look at a black athlete and the stereotype of a black athlete, like we came from these, you're right, dire situations, but they don't realize like our parents, no matter what was going on in their life,
Right.
they were well-meaning parents. So, for example, like, some people, the stereotype of black parents don't read to their kids, or black parents don't have books in the home. Yeah, black parents have books in the home. They read a lot, and we actually discuss some of these books too.
Yep.
And even especially back then, prior to the prevalence of social media, like our parents were doing the best that they could.
Yeah. I agree.
So, what about you? What neighborhood you think deserves more investment?
I think the whole
This is a shout out to the mayor. We're gonna have the mayor on.
I
know we're gonna talk about that later on.
But I think more like the Boys and Girls Clubs, man.
Yeah.
I think like just getting that back going, man, because our kids are in dire needs, man. Like they want to do stuff, but now it's limited. The Boys and Girls Club was an outlet, man. I mean, and even with the athletics, you were going to different Boys and Girls Clubs to compete.
Yeah.
Per your area that you stayed in.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of them have partnered with the schools, but I just think it's not enough, man, because they're actually, everyone's leaving. They're trying to get out because they want their kids to be able to utilize the resources in other places. Or some people are just in a city and they have to go an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away just to utilize their resources.
Yeah.
And so not having anything in the city or having anything, like I think they talking about the data center in Midtown, that need to be a Boys and Girls Club.
Easily.
That need to be it's right there in the middle. It's 10 minutes away from every part of the city.
Yeah.
To host things there, man. But we just got to get things in place so far as security, so far as mentors, all those different things that come back into the area. I think that's what that area should be used for. Instead of, so it's transit. You can get there. You know, you can take a bus, you can ride your bike. It's 10 minutes, 11 away from every place in the city right there, in that Midtown area right there.
Yeah. It literally sits almost in the middle of the city.
That's why it's called Midtown.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle.
Yeah. That's deep. What's one thing that Milwaukee gets wrong about youth sports, though?
Gets wrong?
Yeah.
That's a deep question. So many different sports, man. I think we
because you also play soccer, so you played dual sports at the same exact time.
I think we're seeing more and more, you know, basketball talent, if anything, coming out of Milwaukee right now. I think we booming with just, and again, to James' point, resources.
Yeah.
A lot of NBA cats, high level college guys are coming back and training now and getting involved with kids younger and younger, and it's becoming a thing. You know, shout out Chapman.
Mike Taylor, man.
Mike Taylor.
Hey, shout out to Mike Taylor. We got to call in Mike 833-212-1017.
He loved Milwaukee like no other. You know, Chapman, his thing. He got a whole gang. He got about 75 teams. I mean, but there's so many people coming back.
Yeah,
and they getting the stuff that me and James was talking about now. See, now we talking to the kids, but now they getting that from maybe a couple cats up under us at a younger age and getting it now. So now you got kids again, you know, they training at 11, 10 and doing these things and getting that. So, I mean, I don't think Milwaukee got anything wrong. I think we need to provide more resources.
Yeah.
Like James said, we need more stuff in the city. And I, you know, not to say I'm all in it, but like in the city where we don't have to travel to Franklin or out to Port Washington or out to
New Berlin
and Waukesha to Center Court to play game, you know, when it could be some stuff more centralized, that's giving people and families, you know, allowing them to travel together, watch their kids play, and it makes more sense, you know. But you know, with the way the economy is and the way things are going to see, you know, we kind of veering from that. But we need to provide just more opportunities and outlets for kids inside the city.
Do you think as a black man, are you providing the best, and this is a kind of an introspective question, but do you think you're providing the best service for our children, or do you feel like you can do a lot more?
Now that's deep. And I can speak for myself only to this point. I mean, I go above and beyond.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to gauge what that is per person. You know, like I can do what I can do.
Yeah.
But yours and Randy's might be totally different. But I know in my scope, I'm going above and beyond for those things. And it's deep because you have families too.
Yeah.
And within that time frame and under that umbrella, you're trying to, you know, multitask everything you can. I'm always looking for a better way to do something. Like, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, but I still always looking for something that I know that can help.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, you know, as you evolve as a man, things change. When I was younger, I did a lot of stuff. You know, I had time to do things like that. I remember when I worked for the CLC program, and one of my favorite students, I remember he was going to prom. You know, I bought him his first tuxedo for prom. Like, those are things that made me proud.
Yes.
But as we get older, and to James' point, we get families and we got different responsibilities. We're interjecting ourselves in a different manner. So,
leading by example.
By example. So I always think, to James' point, I think I do a lot of my camp that I've been running coming up on year 11 for my African American youth camp that we run in Concordia.
Man, that's big time.
I love that camp. I mean, I'm 44, man. I'm still staying on campus at night with the kids, man, getting up and sleeping on the little twin bed, and because it means that much to me.
Yeah.
So I do feel that way, but I also feel like because of our athletic prowess, like James was saying and you were saying, Manon, even though we do feel like we're going above and beyond, we probably still think like, I can still change that. I can make a difference with that. You know, you start stretching yourself thin, and then you got to get reined back in because now the twins is calling James and stuff. That type of stuff. You know, my twins, my son, my daughter, you know, their mother, anybody they ask me, I need to be there. I need to do something. I got to be at a recital. I got to be at a graduation. I got to, you know, you got to balance your life out. So it's a fine line.
So man, I want to talk about this, but with Giannis being traded, we put a lot of emphasis on athletes. Is you think his responsibility was, and this could be, of course, your opinion, but like, do you think it was his responsibility to stay because he bought so much business to Milwaukee, or do you think, man, go get yours?
I don't think it was his responsibility. Oh, he got a family.
Yeah.
He got to do what's right for him. He came to the city and far exceeded what anybody thought that he even was supposed to do. The man brought us a championship. That man, he built infrastructure downtown. He's created platforms and pathways for inner city youth.
For
and
jobs, even the stuff he's doing for the summer, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
What we spoke about earlier, like out of all the pros, being around, he made it. He was intentional about the Giannis effect.
Yeah.
You hear about the Vince Carter effect in Canada, Michael Jordan effect in Chicago. I think what he brought and these people seen is what we embraced him because of that, which the industrial, the hard working.
Right.
He came in as hard working, and then he got right down, got his family involved. But then he got involved with our city, man. And anybody that understand their position, to do that, I give respect for him, man, because the things that we were asking for is what he came and did, and these guys are getting paid these millions and billions that are in those platforms to do so.
We're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come right back. But I'm gonna want to ask a few questions about childhood obesity and and fighting childhood obesity, especially in Milwaukee, Brew City. Hey, you all take a break. Come back to the Grapevine.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds. About as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Yes, and we're back with Randy Drew and James Wright. Hey, what's the biggest mistake that parents make with their young athletes? What's the biggest mistake?
Candy, man. Candy and soda.
Hey, y'all. Hey, listeners, if you listen, this is the question. What is the biggest mistake parents can make with young athletes? We're going to put this up on the poll. 833-212-1017. 833-212-1017. What is the biggest mistake parents can make with young athletes? We're going to put it out on the chat. But go ahead.
Living through their kids, man.
Living through their kids
and
with
holding
Candy.
them accountable. I mean, with Candy, but you talking about obesity? Why are you just talking about in general?
In general.
And I say all the time, man, you see people, and this is not a shot at nobody, but you see individuals who have not played their own chosen sport at a high level.
Yeah.
And they putting their kid through the grind at 10, 11, 12, and living through them when, I think, that causes early burnout.
Yeah.
Or injury.
Mm-hmm.
A bad relationship between you and your child.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm a firm believer. Hard work pays dividends. There's nothing like it. Intentional hard work. But a lot of special things that happen with people and a lot of special talents, that's going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
God-given stuff going to take care of itself one way or another.
Yeah.
What you do on the backside when ain't nobody watching is what enhances it. So you can be 6'10",
yeah,
and trash.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be 6'10", trash, and we see you in 2 years, now you a 5-star.
Right.
And that's all because of what you do and ain't nobody
That
watching.
discipline and working, that integrity piece, that you raised your bar and to the point where he said, the parent can't make you go in there.
Right.
Like I can always tell right away when, the parent is setting it up, oh, we got to drop off here, we got to drop up, we got to pick them up there, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
At what point are you saying, hey, let me ride my bike over here?
Yep.
Or are you making that call, hey, I want to get to the gym.
Yep.
Can you pick me up, coach, what time the gym is open?
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the ones that separated because they want it.
Yep.
And
not because the parent wanted
it. Not because we set up their lives. We set them for them to have it better than us.
Yeah.
But it still has to be that separation to say, hey, okay, like my son now, I say, dog, I'm not going to keep doing push-ups with you.
Yeah.
Like at what point are you going to do this on, like you got to do this on your own.
Right.
So that goes a long way, man. But trying to live through them, it's tough, man, because we all want what's best for them, what we think is best for them.
Correct.
But what helped me as a coach parent, I had to have trial and error with other parents and their kids.
Yep.
First, because I would have a parent to say, oh, man, my kid's soft, man. Man, he's soft, man. I don't know if I want to hoop no more. And I had to really pull him to the side, and I had to tell him, hey, man, do you want a relationship with your son?
Yep.
Because the sports are going to stop.
Yep.
But let me ask you this question. How did he get here?
Yeah.
You picked him up and you're dropping him off, right?
Yeah.
How did we get to that? We rode the bus, we walked, we went. Those things that build the callus for you to become, to build that toughness. Every play set that's set for him, you set it up.
That's right.
So there's been no point where he can or she can get a feeling of if this is what I want to do, but also to learn the groove outside of you being around.
Yeah.
So we got to be so careful with that because the sport stopped.
Yeah.
Me and our relationship, we wanted to go. And one thing about a kid, you don't want to tarnish that because later they grow with that.
Mm-hmm.
They grow with that, and it can take some time to repair it because you came down on them. Do this.
Right.
And they like, well, I really didn't want to do this. And if you would have paid attention to me outside of what you wanted me to do, you would have known that.
You support them and not control them.
That's right.
You support them and control them. It don't take me nothing to show up to your game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what you do in the game, now we can have conversations. Because I've been with you when you've worked on something and you've been doing this. You're Dad, I'm trying to do this. I'm like, man, I ain't see you do none of that in the game.
Right.
It ain't about failing. You fail, you can't get better. You don't know what your capabilities are until you try it and fail.
That's
or you
right.
try it and you do it.
That's right.
That's probably how people end up dunking one day. One day James probably looked at the rim and said, man, you know what? Man, I can dunk. And you go do it, and you try it, and you dunk. And now you ain't never missed a dunk after that because you know you can do it.
I'm telling you, it's funny you say that, man. But
that's
how I started.
Let me ask you a question. So about dunking, we can like hit the rim.
I dunked once in my life.
Really?
Give me some credit, man.
So and I believe him because them athletes, man, he one of those dudes you keep telling me he can't do something.
You gonna go do it.
But what's funny is I started dunking at 5'8".
Really?
So I started, man. That's why I say it can happen. All the conversations we're having right now can happen. I remember in sixth grade saying, I want to touch the net.
Yeah.
I started running, touching the net. Next thing you know, I was touching the middle of the net.
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, I was touching the rim.
Yeah.
And then a five. The funny thing is, a 5'6", 5'5" person taught me how to dunk.
Really?
Eddie Jones taught me how to dunk. And I was 5'8", 5'9" then.
Mm.
And so once it did that, then I had a growth spurt. So you got this speed with it, and I was a gymnastics dude. I was flipping the soccer and all that, and it just kind of, once you get that energy of that, man, it ain't no turning back.
Oh, I got a bunch of questions. So let me ask you a question. When you first dunked, we got that part.
Yeah.
Who was the person that you dunked on?
So man, it's crazy.
No, I'm talking about the ugly.
No,
dunk.
I'm talking about
ugly dunk. You dunked on somebody I got him.
My first dunk was a Sports Center top 10 dunk when I was 13.
What?
Guy Jimmy Bates.
Yeah.
It was a guy, man. We was in NCSL up in Vincent High School.
Yeah.
And I had just learned how to dunk, and me and my cousin, we talking about what we go do if we get on a fast break. I get a steal. And he was a high flyer. I didn't know who he was at that time. He was older. We were playing 18U. I was playing up.
Right.
And, shot blockers, he timed me going from this side, like jogging, like he was going to time it. I'm like, no, I'm dunking this. I know, man. I gathered my speed. Boom! And it was like 4 other games going on at the same time. I didn't even know it was an and one. Like his leg, he was wrapped around me, and I dunked. It came down. I was running to go back to the other end. And, man, I'm talking about all the games stopped, man. At Vincent at that time, they had each court.
Yep. Yeah.
All the games stopped, man. Like, everybody ran onto our court. Like, dog, do you know what you just did? You know who that is?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't care. Like, that was my first dunk, man. So my cousin, we said we was going to do it. So it was crazy, man. But I think I was 13, maybe 14. 13 going on 14.
That's crazy. Is it useful to play multiple sports? Because when you were talking about how you class sports for kids, not just multiple, sports, like organized sports, just sports in general.
Yeah, because you're cross training.
Yep.
Yeah. If you playing soccer, you're working on your footwork. If you playing football, you're working on your agility and your hand-eye coordination. If you playing basketball, you're using different muscles or the same muscles in different ways.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you're starting to see. I'll use baseball. I'm not even a huge baseball guy, but you're starting to see kids in high school having Tommy John surgery or shoulder surgery because they throwing 1,000 baseballs a summer.
Right.
Yep.
They pitching all day. Now they got things like pitch count stuff. Again, I'm not no baseball guy.
Right.
But you got people who they wake up, they in the batting cage, go home, go back up, they throwing 100 pitches. They come and they just doing it for one sport. Or you got kids who wake up in the gym, dribbling, shooting, move. And now you got these kids who, like I said, either burnt out.
They're not durable.
Or they not injury because they're overworking the same muscle in the same manner for years and years and years.
Yeah. So they not flipping, they not wrestling.
They
with
just not cross
they
training.
just out. There's no cross training,
training.
none of that.
Yeah.
Because everybody got their mindset on you gonna be a basketball player.
Yep.
You gonna be a boxer. And I'm not. And some of those kids make it.
Yeah.
Some do.
Yeah.
But it's more that don't.
Yep.
It's more kids that don't. And those are the kids that I worry about is because if you put all your eggs in the basket, because from 5th grade to 9th grade, you was the best thing smoking.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, somebody had a growth spurt and caught you.
Yeah.
And now everything, because that's your world.
That's your world.
How you gonna go from the best to the mid of the pack or worse?
Fast and stronger, like all those things. And it's crazy because boys really grow to their 21.
Yeah.
And so whether it's mentally IQ wise, strength, speed, or one of those things happen for us. Or like I grew an inch and a half in college. Like we really do go to that time frame, and that's the difference. The little dude who everybody talking about ranked, he in 8th grade, but he got a grown man body.
Yeah,
we sit back and I'm telling my son now, like, man, don't you worry about that.
Right.
I don't want you being good early right now.
Why?
Let's take it a little bit at a time. Just compete. But we're not we're gonna cross train. We're gonna do track. You go skate. You go ride a skateboard. You go swim. You're gonna because now these kids we set it up for them.
Yeah.
You go to pay for the trainer. They go to their sport. Then they go home and they done for the day. For the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, dog, it's 8 more hours or 6 more hours, especially in the summertime. We finna go hit the hill. We finna go ride the bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Like all those things that build that flexibility. You gotta think about the muscles go both ways.
Yep.
But if you stuck on that sport, as Randy said, it's only one way. That's why when these guys get these injuries, things that would take us a week, 6 to 8 weeks for everybody else because it's that scar tissue is going one way.
Yep.
You haven't broke it both ways to keep it durable.
Hey, I got So when you guys were training and going through the things that you're going through with your careers and stuff like that, hip hop played a big role. And I know we've seen all genres of hip hop from like late 80s, 90s, 2000s up to now. Hip hop, especially if I look at what I went through as an athlete, I know hip hop and music was something I used to actually help prepare me. But we do it in every genre, look, James Brown, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, whoever else was going on at that time, right? Like it was all of this, correlation, this parallel with music and sports. When we come back, I want to ask you guys a question. How did music influence your career, and how can we use that to help influence the kids now? But when we come back, you guys, we got Randy, Drew, and James Wright going into our last part of the interview. We're going to ask some of these rapid fire questions at the end too. I want to test their mettle. Let's take this break.
Want to save money on energy bills? With free tools from We Energies, you're in control. Manage your energy use with easy tips. Earn rebates on home upgrades, calculate your energy use, create savings goals, view and compare bills, and more. With We Energies, the energy info you need is at your fingertips. Save your way at WeEnergies.com/simple savings or download the app. We Energies. Simple steps, real savings.
At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in hands-on programs across campus. From science and tech to arts, sports, and more, students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Programs are led by UW Milwaukee faculty, staff, and current students. And it's easy to register online. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. UW Milwaukee. Roar Ready. Your child's future starts here.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back. We're about to pick some more grapes off the grapevine with Randy, Drew, and James Wright. Closing the achievement gap. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
talk about that,
man. The CAGC, man. So I've been in Whitefish Bay going on 13. So probably about 11 or 12 years ago, man. I was in work one day and two men that mean a lot to me, mentors. Dr. Damon Means, who is the superintendent of Wauwatosa School Districts, and Dr. Elliot Moser, who was my superintendent and principal when I was at Nicolet. They was there for a meeting talking about the Close the Achievement Gap. I had no idea. So when they was walking out, they was like, I got something for you, so make sure you get in contact with me.
Yeah.
So the Close the Achievement Gap started with about 4 schools. I don't want to start naming a bunch of districts and get it wrong, but and the whole premise was, how can we get our black and brown students in predominantly white schools to fare better educationally in school? How can we improve their time? How can we improve their environments and their just experience in these schools? Because a lot of the times people think, and we all doing better now, but people think, I'm gonna take my kid and put them out here so they can be safe. They ain't got to worry about this and about that. And it's a fine line with that. Because I tell people all the time, first of all, it's good if you live in that community.
Right.
And if you want to send your student to a predominantly white school, in my opinion, as a black man, you got to make sure you're ready to do school with your kid. And what I mean by that is you got to be there.
Yeah.
They got a band concert. They got a basketball game. They got a swim meet. They got a debate tournament. They on the chess team. They in the play.
Yes.
Volunteer PT. Whatever you got to do, you want to be visible.
Yeah.
Involved, and you got to be visible so people can know that your student is not alone. And they won't get ran over. So we started this camp. When it first started, it was the African American. It's the African American Youth Initiative. But it first started with just boys.
Yeah.
And then we kind of blew it up, and now it's boys and girls. The African American Youth Initiative, I think we got around 40 school districts that are part of the CAGC, the Closing the Achievement Gap Consortium.
Yeah.
Man, so we do 3 days, 2 nights at Concordia with the kids. We try to give them a real college experience, living in dorms, getting to know people that you don't know, programming from local people who want to come talk and pour into our kids, take them on field trips. And I love it because, we're talking about all these things that me and James doing, and what you do as being athletes, because a lot of stuff I used to do was always connected to athletics.
Right.
This ain't got nothing to do with athletics.
Wow.
This is all about, and I love it, it's all about empowering kids so they can see.
It's dope, man.
Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright. Go find Mr. Wright. Go talk to Mr. Wright. Like I'm telling them that when we meet him. Go find him. And he don't know, well, he know now, but he don't know.
Yes, we're back. We're going to pick some more grapes with Randy Drew and James Wright. Listen, y'all, we got a caller. What's up, caller? Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How you doing, Steve?
I just wanted to give not too bad. I just wanted to give a shout out to Randy. My son, Aaron, was on the, let's call it the COVID football team, the undefeated 8-0 during COVID.
Yeah, yes sir.
At Whitefish Bay. And I tell you, Randy, he loved you. You were a great role model. I met you a couple of times.
What's your last name, sir?
And I love you too. Pardon?
What's your last name?
Gallardi.
Gallardi. Oh, Aaron Gallardi. Yeah, Aaron. I just saw Aaron not too long ago.
Yeah. He's a good man, and you had a lot to do with it.
And I appreciate that.
For those out there in the audience, Aaron is a black kid. We adopted him, and it's good. I try to be a role model as a father, but it's good for even adopted black children to have someone of their own race and culture to be a role model.
I appreciate that.
Definitely. Definitely.
Pretty cool, man. Thank you for doing that.
You did a great job with Aaron too, man. I just saw him not too long ago, so I appreciate the call, Mr. Gallardi.
I'll tell you, when I see him, sometimes I'll see him at the gym and in front of everybody, hey, Dad, I love you. Gives me a big hug. That feels so good, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, he's funny too. Aaron he's super funny, but he's a great kid. He's doing good in life too. I've seen him at a few games. He's come back to the school.
Man, he dropped the call, but I think that having that level of gratefulness and thankfulness is what matters the most.
It goes back to your question you asked me and James earlier. Like, those are the instances where we just feel like I'm doing something, because it'd be some days where I'm sure James go through this too, man. Because he juggling 55 things in the air, and you steadily trying to give each one the same attention and whatever. And you think you're doing something, you think you're not doing enough, and then you get a call like that, or you get a Happy Father's Day from 15 of his old players that he had. Like, those are the type of things. It's like, man, I meant that much.
Yeah,
that somebody texted me on Father's Day. I'm not their father, but I did this, or Thank God,
role.
Somebody called, a student's father called in to say something about my impact on his son.
Right.
And when he was talking, I was thinking the same thing. Like, Aaron was adopted, an adopted kid, and we had some real nice conversations in high school about it's a little mini identity crisis. You know, he trying to figure out how he look and why nobody looks like him, or, you know, obviously he knows why, but he's just trying to navigate himself living in Whitefish Bay and coming into his own. And I remember the older he got, he started having these real candid conversations about who he was and how he felt. Deep, you know, you're not the small kid. You know, Aaron probably about 6 foot, you know, bigger black dude. Was growing dreads at the time, you know what I'm saying? So all those phases, all those stereotypes start kicking in because you start looking up saying, you not the little, you turned into a man now. Yeah. So you can be in a situation where you live in a good neighborhood, you live in an amazing environment, and Whitefish Bay per capita is probably the richest in the state. In the state, yep. And you do all that type of stuff, and at the end of the day, you still can feel outcasted. You can still feel like you don't fit in. Right. And this man ain't had nothing to deal with like that. Yeah. But you would never know because he's funny. He played sport.
And this is a period of time in which we're going to do a rapid fire. So I'm going to kind of blend the section that I didn't hit it right now, which is when you get to the gym, what song is the first song you play in your headphones?
Man, I used to try to go for the hardest. You know, now, I mean,
it's changed now.
I let Usher play or something. I like working out the R&B music.
I'm a Chris Brown, man. I might be in it, man. Like, it's changed. At first, it was man. At first, it was No Limit, like Cash Money, Jigga. You know what I'm saying? But now, man, I say within the last 10 years, man, it's at peace. My emotions, it's at peace. Like, I'm in tune, like it's some R&B, man. Yeah, I might dance in between or something, you know.
And I'm usually in there by myself. Yeah, till about 5:30, close to 6. Then some other cats start coming in with the little workout crew we got. Right. But you know, if a you know, I don't want to say bang bang shoot 'em, but if one of them songs come on and you feeling it, it's all good. But I'll put it on repeat. Yeah. If Usher come on,
the part that almost nobody is talking about. Nobody is talking about this. But before we talk about the part that no one is talking about, we're going to, Zach, you got the clip pulled up. Let's watch this real quick. You guys need to see this.
To close tomorrow. It'll be the 8th Walgreens store to close in Milwaukee in 3 years. A log of Milwaukee Police Call Service shows officers were responding to the 27th location 122 times last year, including for shots fired and 33 cases of theft and robbery. Walgreens plans to transfer prescriptions to its next closest store. That would be 35th in Wisconsin, which is 2 miles away. The Walgreens on 27th and North is set to close tomorrow.
So we're talking about whether Milwaukee is becoming a city where your zip code determines your life expectancy, right? One by one, grocery stores disappear, pharmacies disappear, does not have any interest in its community, in the community that is just planted. You don't see a Walgreens. When Walgreens comes into a community, you don't see, and this is my other pet peeve, and this is a big pet peeve, especially for people that are opening up businesses. If you are opening up a business, don't just open up a business and not do anything with the community. It should be a law or an ordinance or a policy, whatever it is. It should be a policy or law or ordinance for a business to do community work prior to them opening up in the business. If they're in the business of doing business in the community, why not require the city of Milwaukee, to you guys, why not require for those businesses to do something in that particular neighborhood, however large that neighborhood is? 1-8-224-28 5328 53228 53224 53218. I have to go out to those places in order to get a healthy meal, in order to shop for my family that needs fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. There's probably only one, maybe two grocery stores. If you guys know any, please call 833-212-1017. There's probably one or two good grocery stores that we can get in the neighborhood, in the inner city, that we can get good fresh vegetables and fruit from. And if y'all know any more, I'm pretty sure there's some outside of our farmers that are farming. I'm pretty sure there's probably one that I'm missing. But right now, We're not when there's a systematic disinvestment from entities, large, medium, and or small, that who have invested a large sum and or small sum of information and resources into a community, and have definitely, they contributed whatever they need to contribute. They pulled that money, they pulled those resources, they pulled that food and that information out of that community to save and conserve. And so now you, your grandmother, who is probably in a wheelchair, has to go, and I'm not saying yours, but I'm just saying it's just an example.
I was gonna say, why she gotta be in a wheelchair?
Man. Like,
well, I hear what you're saying.
Now we got to go. Now, I'm just saying we got to go further. We got to travel further to get to that farmer's market, and or what would you say to that?
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. James D. White has years of experience leading businesses, including a decade-long stint as the CEO of Jamba Juice. And if there's one hill he'd die on, it would be that companies should be spending more time building a good culture. Speaking to Bloomberg, White talked about how his focus on culture helped him at Jamba Juice, and that he put it in motion as soon as he walked in the door by asking existing employees 4 simple questions.
What should the organization start doing? What should we stop doing? And what are the things that are working well that we should continue? And then the final bonus question is, what advice would you have for me as CEO? And we really leverage that approach with really all of our stakeholder groups and use that to build a plan to turn around and transform the company.
Today, White is chairman of the board of The Honest Company and a board member at Kava. And as a person of color, he's also a big proponent of diversity as a pillar of company culture. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Some more grapes off the grapevine. I'm about to play a video by Dr. Claude Anderson. If you don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is, he's a great black social scientist and also business guru that has created the many, many books based around black economics. And I want to share something with y'all that I'm hopeful for, but might not happen ever again. But go ahead, play that, Zach.
In 44, in a black city, blacks own 2 gas stations out of 146. You own nothing. The rest, the hotels and the 7-Elevens, are owned by Indians. Asians are owning the laundries. They're owning the hair and wig shops, the nail shops. Blacks own nothing in a 90% black city. And that's why now Detroit went into poverty. That's why it was declared bankrupt. Because blacks had money. Blacks had about 11 to 12 billion a year annual.
City action. It's supposed to be coordinated city action. That means that the city is going to fight against the people that are taking away from our city. So they take up space and they move their money elsewhere. And where do they move their money to? We talked about it the last hour. They're moving their money out to the burbs. They're moving their money. Trust me, if you go out to the suburbs, there's more grocery stores being built. There's more Starbucks being built. There's more Pick and Saves or whatever else, Kroger, Publix, Myers being built. There are more grocery stores being built. And there's a lot. When you walk into some of those grocery stores, they're not as busy. They're not as busy as some of the grocery stores that we had in our neighborhoods. I think the number is cold. Walk to that fresh market. Go and get on the bus. Hit that Uber. Hit that cab, and go grab some healthy food. This is what I've dedicated my entire life to. Through martial arts, through wellness, nutrition. Somebody asked me today, they asked me what was the best juice I can juice for my diabetes. And I told them the best juice you can juice for your diabetes is a beet juice. Just hit up a grocery store, grab some beets, and boom, push those beets through your juicer. Even if you gotta soften them up, push them through your blender and blend them up, make you a smoothie, and drink that juice. What's the best juice for my for my blood pressure. Their hands in the cereal box. It looks like seniors, your grandmother, your granddaddy, your great-grand aunt, your grand aunt. It looks like them taking a couple buses asking you to give them a ride to get some vegetables. It looks like neighborhoods with 6 liquor stores, but not one full-service grocery store. There is a full-service grocery store. Matter of fact, I had to think about it. It's a full-service grocery store on Fond du Lac, where the old G's used to be. On Fond du Lac and I think Sherman and Fond du Lac. There's a grocery store over there. Go support that. It looks like people having no choice but to buy what's available instead of what's healthy. Because what's available is easy. It's a way for individuals to pacify and satiate themselves so they can feel full enough to make it through the day. So they can go to work the next day or handle their kids or go to the sporting event. But it's a way to satiate themselves. But people don't realize those are empty calories. Those are empty calories. Those are calories that you can't, it's just zero sum. There's zero sum calories. And this is where this becomes my conversation. Because I'm not just talking about grocery stores. I'm not just talking about our bodies. Poor nutrition increases the risk of diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, stroke, high blood pressure, depression, even dementia. Dementia is real. So when people ask me why we talk about wellness every day on this show, this is my why. This is my why. I want to hear from you. What is missing in your neighborhood? What is missing in our neighborhoods? A grocery store, a pharmacy, a farmer's market, or is it simply healthy, affordable food? I want to hear from y'all over the next couple of days. I want to hear what it seems like it could be. I'm excited for the future, but I'm also worried that we are going to allow for the systemic disinvestment in our community to penetrate so far into our lives, into our communities, that we're not going to be able to get anything back. It's going to be empty. And then when it's empty, people who have the money are going to come and take over that particular period of land. I'm excited for us in some ways, but also a little sad. Hey, y'all, I'm Anan Sabir. This is the Grapevine. You're on the Truth Radio 101.7. Let's continue this conversation. Holla at y'all in a minute.